Go, boy, that was a lot. I was not ready for that level of excitement. For those of you that were.
Very excited to be here this morning.
Welcome back to Warm N Cozy Quilting. I'm Jason.
And I'm Victoria.
And she's also kind of loud and projecty. Oh, goodness, golly gracious. How are you doing today?
I'm great. And yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm trying to get my stuff situated here because behind the camera today we have Jason, who's in front of the camera.
Yippee!
It's not really the best option sometimes, but it's an option, and that's the one we're going with.
We're doing great.
If you're out there watching in the Facebook world, don't forget to say hi.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say hi back to you here in a minute. If you're watching on the YouTube, say hi.
Same thing.
Because, I mean, why
that way?
It's more fun.
Absolutely.
You can watch either or. You could be here. You could be there. You could probably do both. You could do either or.
Yeah.
I don't know about both at the same time. You probably have latency issues.
Yeah, weird echo sound, layering, weirdness.
Probably wouldn't go that route.
No.
For those of you concerned where the whereabouts of Danielle are, well, she's teaching the 100 block thing today, or moderating, I should say. It's more of a moderation. Mm-hmm. It's a group of people making 100 blocks. It's
together
insanity.
For funsies.
As a team.
Like that.
Was it just like that?
It was just like that. I was out there just a minute ago, and there was a lot of
fancy fingers.
Fancy fingers.
Fancy fingers out of that rotary cutter.
Yes, that would hurt.
That would hurt. Anyway, so today we're going to talk a little bit about just knowing that you're doing fine with quilting. I've had too many conversations lately. We've covered this before. Mm-hmm. It's been a long time since we've covered this, but sometimes we just need to be reminded that we're doing okay. It's just quilting.
Just quilting.
Unless you're a professional artist and this is your livelihood all the time, all the way through.
Props to you.
Fantastic. But sometimes we just need to know we're doing okay. So we're going to talk about that today. Any helpful advice, tips, or hints from anybody as far as when you make a mistake or are you doing it right? Go ahead and throw those in the comments. I would love to have, other people's, I guess, if you will, one-liners.
Ooh,
they're fun.
Yes, I love one-liners.
They're fun. There's the 30-30 rule. You've heard of that one?
No.
I'll tell you later.
Okay, great.
Remind me, though, because I'll forget.
Okay.
Anyway, feel free to chat along with us today. And again, don't forget to say hello. We got, let's see, people saying hi. Who we got out here saying hi to us? You got Cindy. Morning, Cindy.
Good morning.
And hello, Kathleen. And hello, Deborah. Guys, we got Jane Q out there and also Joanne. Nice to see you on.
Hi,
good morning,
Joanne.
Dolores.
Good
to see you guys. Southern Illinois representing.
Present.
Again, a lot. Anyway, this is hot.
Yeah, I did just make coffee just a minute ago.
Hot coffee. Ugh, weird. Anyway. All right, so we're going to just dive into it today.
Okay.
I feel there's a lot of potential conversation here. Again, don't feel bad about commenting along with us because I will watch the comments. So will she.
I'm also watching.
Oh, I didn't look over
right
YouTube.
now.
Did anybody say anything on there? I haven't. No. We don't. So some important things to know about this. What I've learned is that more often than not, we've talked about the quilt police.
Yeah.
That was a fun conversation. Mm-hmm. I genuinely had people believing that the quilt police at one time were a real fraternity of quilters. No. That was completely falsified.
That was a lie. He lied to you.
If I was on this witness stand, I would have gone to jail for perjury.
Yep.
It was a lie. But it was fun.
It was fun.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Shauna Decky. Not a real person.
Nope.
Not
fictitious.
In the sense of quilt policey. But we're doing our projects, we're having fun, we're doing the best we can, and all of a sudden our friend walks in and goes, "Oh my gosh, what are you doing?"
Number one, you need to get new friends.
No, that's not true. Your friend may have a different method. It's okay.
Yeah.
But does that mean you've been doing it wrong the entire time?
No.
Yes.
Oh.
No. The answer is no. No. You're right.
Cool.
Wrong answer. That's correct. It just means that you got to remember that quilting has no real rules. You can do whatever you want. All right. Again, a lot of conversation. This is the fun of being in the quilting business.
Yeah.
A lot of these things you go through in your own life, you're like, oh my gosh, I must be the only one that does this. No, I can promise you, you're one of many that have done that a lot. So you're doing just fine. Mm-hmm. The thing to remember is that you're doing this normally for yourself. So it's okay. If it's not perfect, nobody cares. But one of the biggest problems that people tend to have in this business, I say business because that's my business.
Right.
But in this hobby is picking colors. Let's be honest. Quilts are color.
Yeah.
Unless you do a black and white one, which those are cool. But picking colors is tough.
And it's not like other forms of art, add a little bit of white paint and now it's lighter. No. You're stuck to whatever they printed out for you.
Right. And that's sometimes it's tough to make those decisions and know what's a really good way to go. So it's really nice to be able to go into a shop. If you got one nearby, hopefully it's us. And if it's not us, that's okay. Most shops have people in that know what they're doing or are willing to help. So going in and asking for help is a fine option. But let's say you don't have that. That's no fun.
That sucks.
Or you just prefer to shop from the web pages far, far away from any shop because that's where there are tools that you can get to make color selection easier. Okay. Number one, this guy right here is my personal favorite. This is a color guide. Color wheel, even though it's not a wheel, it's sort of a wheel. It's got a pivot point.
Does not make it a wheel.
Not really. Not so much. It's more of a card situation.
Yeah.
Anyway, when it comes to picking colors, when you have a color card that covers all the colors that are out there, and you have the right one that has Pantone numbers, you familiar with Pantone numbers?
I am familiar with Pantone numbers.
And the CMYKs?
Mm-hmm.
These are numbers that are specifically assigned to colors, telling you how much of specific, like,
it's
the
red.
hues of your colors. Yeah, go ahead.
It's red, blue, and green, I believe.
That's the RGB.
Yes. So
CMYK is cyan, magenta, yellow, and I don't know what the K is. Maybe black.
Why would K be black?
Because why not?
Why
I should have
wouldn't
done a
it
little bit
be?
more homework. Anyway, when you have numbers that tell you what those colors are, and you're looking at your fabric, you got this laid on top of it, and you're like, it's that one right there. I need more of that color. You don't have to drag the whole bolt of fabric around with you to find that color.
Right.
You can walk around with a color card. It's like when you go paint shopping for your house.
Yeah.
You get a little color card, paint swatch, wander around, be like, I'm looking for this color or something very similar to it.
Thank you, Home Depot.
Thank you, Home Depot. Also, when you have a proper color card, you can also get something like this that shows you what it complements with. So if you're like, I've got this really cool teal and I don't know what I should put that with. Well, it sure looks like is that red? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like a pink.
Red would be awesome. No, it says right there. See? Complementary. Aqua
Red.
green. Red.
Well, red 19.
Right. Well, that means you go to page number 19.
Oh.
And that shows you your reds that complement well. Right?
That's
so
awesome.
even if it's a print or a solid, it doesn't matter. You'll be able to find something that complements well. And you'll be able to see, hey, that actually all goes really well together. Nice, right?
Yeah.
Now here's another fun app thing that you can get to help you with color selection. Let's say you need solids. There is this app that I was made privy to this week. That was a really fancy word that I just used, and I don't know that I used it right. It's called, here, I'll hold it up to your screen, a Quilty Solid. I don't know if you can see me or not.
It was more focused on our faces,
Oh, was
so
it?
it definitely blurred out your screen.
Oh, and it's all, that was,
You know, like, hide so that way
hide your face. A Quilty Solid, there it is. It's an app. It's a free app. You go to your app store. You get a Quilty Solid. What is this app? This app actually has these lovely color codes associated with the solid fabrics that you can get of all the major solid fabric lines. So if you're looking for a specific color, you can find out whose fabric gets that color for you. It includes the Paintbrush Solid palette of colors, which you know we carry all of them. So if you need a specific color and I got it in store, you technically could buy it, but you're going to know I got it here and you can just come here and get it. How
and if we don't have
fantastic
it
is that?
in stock, we can get it for you.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. But anyway, yeah, just super fantastic information. I just want you to know those two tips right there will make your color selection that much better. And then you could be a little less harsh on yourself when it comes to, oh, I don't know if that looks good.
And it does look good.
It looks fine.
You did a great job.
It's going to be awesome. Are you taking it to Paducah though? You're not? Then it's fine. It's totally fine. If you are, well, whatever. It's art. Do what you want.
Yeah. Subjective.
Oh, we do have some people say good morning. Hi, Regina, and what you saying?
Webster
Oh.
University is an awesome school. You love it. Aw,
So yeah,
thanks.
so she's sporting a Webster University shirt today.
I got
Not
it for
committed
free,
to it just
not
yet.
committed. It was a free
But they're
shirt.
very front in the running of where somebody wants to go after high school. So exciting!
Yay!
Yay! So anyway, that, my friend, is an idea. All right, so your colors, we've talked to you how to get through that. And again, if you come in and you need to talk colors,
I will help you.
will you?
I will.
How?
With my eyeballs.
Hmm.
I mean, I'll answer that question any
Okay.
better than that.
You don't do it by sense of touch?
Close my eyes and walk around.
No, let's not do that.
This feels like a yellow.
This is not yellow. Open my eyes. Anyway, let's see here. What is another thing that people have problems with? We have finding a guild. Sometimes it's tough to find the right group of people. If you didn't know guilds exist because you're super new to this whole quilty world, guilds exist. They're real.
Whoa. They are not a myth.
They're not. And sometimes they're super helpful. Actually, most all the time, because it's a group of like-minded people doing what you're doing. It's actually a really good resource.
Yeah.
Find one local to you. Go check them out. A lot of guilds will have a one visit kind of thing. Like you can come in for a meeting and check them out and say, oh yeah, this is for me. Or these guys are more interested in modern quilting because that's the Modern Quilt Guild. And I like the traditional more. So maybe that's not my place right now in time. You can find a different guild to go visit and hang out with.
Right.
I've actually been made aware of like 3 or 4 different ones in the St. Louis area. There's several. Some
I
are smaller.
only knew about the one.
There's some bigger ones. There's some smaller ones. Kind of nice, actually. You have options. Go check them out. If not, start your own guild. Just stand out in the farm field and
Done that.
what?
Yeah.
Nah, I ain't got the time for that.
Well,
Maybe someday. Also, if you're really having a problem with a pattern or something that you're working on, Pattern Writer probably has a video out there.
Google.
Actually, it's kind of interesting. I was talking with Diane this morning. She works here. Also Danielle's aunt, by the way. And she
Family
mentioned,
affair.
we were talking about, patterns for specific stuff. And really, you can Googly search just about any pattern, and you'll probably find a video or pictures or some sort of helpful hints from other people that have pieced this thing together. So there's tons of information out there. If you're not real sure that the pattern's working well for you,
Mm-hmm.
you can absolutely go check this stuff out.
Absolutely. Worth your time.
I think it's absolutely worth your time, for sure. This third tip, this was my favorite tip because when it comes to piecing, if the foot pedal isn't all the way to the floor and the speed dial isn't all the way over, I'm not really quilting. I'm not really piecing anything. This is my own personal philosophy for myself. I do not encourage this for anybody else.
I'm at like half speed.
Yeah.
And foot pedal is like halfway to the ground, so I can control my speed and not zooming through.
If you have a machine that goes super fast and you go super fast, the fabric doesn't even have a chance to react.
I had that philosophy once, and then I locked up the whole. I don't know. I was really young. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That don't work very well, especially when you're like 8 and really don't understand anything. Doesn't work.
Okay, fair enough.
By the way.
So, in that regard, doing all this stuff is not a race. So not only are we not so much concerned about being judged by our friends that don't know what we're doing, it's not a race. You don't have to rush through the work.
Just because you paid for the entire speedometer doesn't mean you need to use the entire speedometer.
I bought a Ferrari, don't tell me to drop my I'm gonna go fast. So, anyway, you're right. You don't have to use the whole speedometer. You don't have to.
Don't have to.
The laws say you can't or shouldn't. But
I'm sure, there's a back road somewhere.
no, that's not safe. There's a racetrack somewhere that has Monday night racing.
Oh,
go visit that.
That's kind of cool.
But when you have your sewing machine in your house, who's there to stop you?
Right, exactly.
Shauna Decky ain't coming in. I'm going as fast as I can. However, really though, it's not good to go super fast. When you go fast, fabric things aren't where they're supposed to be. It's like if you're building a house. If you have the guy that comes in and he gives you this super low ball number and he just starts building, when your floors end up at a slight 5-degree angle and everything runs the wrong direction because it really should be flat, it's real important that you take the time with your fabric, your materials, piece them properly, take your time, relax. It's okay. Some of the best quilts that I have seen and I know that are out there, they weren't done in a weekend.
No.
No.
Like her pride and joy quilt was like what, 5 years in the making?
Yeah, something like that, 4 or 5 years. And it sat for a while.
It did, but even still, sometimes you gotta like put it away for a while.
Right, because sometimes you find this perfect pattern, this awesome kit, you buy it, and you realize, oh, I'm not there yet.
No.
I don't know how to do that. So sometimes it's better to just put it aside, and then when you come back to it in a couple years, you've made several quilts, you've actually developed a bit more skill set, and you're able to get through that a little bit easier. And the hazard there is that you find what you did several years ago, and kind of like a surprise bonus to yourself. What was I doing? Oh my. Man. Quarter-ish inch seams.
Starched, didn't starch.
Right. But again, this is process. This is how it works. Just be aware of that.
Learning.
Nobody's judging you for putting that project away and starting a new one. If you have a spouse and he's kind of judgmental because you've got several of them in the closet, that's none of his business. How many fishing poles do you got? You have 2 arms and 14 fishing poles. Tell me how I'm doing this wrong. I'm just saying. I've fished. I know how it works. You got to have and they each have their own job. I understand. I don't have 3 boats for a reason because I ain't got no room for them.
Yeah, I was about to say we don't have any boats.
No boats. Boats are expensive, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, they can take years to complete. Doesn't mean it has to be an epic saga. It could take you, 6 months. If that's a project, if you're able to focus on one and just go through it, that's fine. Take the time. You're going to be far more happy with the time you've put into it and that finished project.
It's gonna look super lit.
Yeah. Really? I love it. Oh, goodness. Oh, we had people jumping in. Who we got here? Cindy has a guild with a bunch of bees you can join. Nice. Each can have a different focus. Oh, that's kind of neat. So they have their own little like quilting bee where you can, that's a wonderful idea. Victoria's sitting here thinking, I don't know why you would have bees in a quilt group. That seems dangerous.
I like bees.
Bees are fun, but that doesn't make sense. Anyway, I had to explain that a little bit, but that's all right.
That's okay.
Let's see. Pam's gonna. Oh, hi, Pam. Good to see you on.
Good morning.
She's gonna have to watch it. All free church event today. That sounds hot.
Yeah, that sounds gross. I mean, it sounds like fun, but it sounds like it's gonna be gross outside.
Pam's in Alabama, so it's warmer there than it is here, I'm sure. So
and it's gross.
It's gonna be warm.
Yeah, it's supposed to be hot today.
It kind of jumped right up to the 90s. Didn't really. I mean, there was a fall, but it was all of a sudden 90s. So yeah, we do our best with that. Let's see here. All right, so back to it's not a race.
Yeah.
Don't use the full speedometer. Apparently, don't do it.
It's dangerous after like 80.
Also, that brings up the next point: sewing with a 1/4 inch seam. If you're going full speed, keeping that 1/4 inch seam is going to be a lot tougher to do. Even if you've got a 1600 stitch per minute, industrial machine that just flings through the fabric, it's be a good thing. So the 1/4 inch seam is super important. A lot of our patterns, almost all of our patterns, are all written using a 1/4 inch seam. That's pretty much the trademark and foundation of quilting.
Right.
When it comes to no rules in quilting, this is one of those, again, we kind of mentioned it in that video about being very strong of a recommendation.
Yeah.
Almost a rule, but not, do what you want, but you always want to stay at that 1/4 inch. That consistency is going to keep your blocks coming out the right size so that your overall quilt is the appropriate size and you don't have things shifted. It helps you keep your points. It makes things nice and clean and crisp looking. So, but it's not a perfect 1/4 inch. Tactical SWAT team is not outside your house with their little micro measurer. They're not coming in.
No.
They're not. Don't think
your
so.
Your door will stay intact. It's okay.
It will be fine. It's fine. If they are, you might want to check with the husband and what his fishing stuff is in that garage, because maybe something else is going on because it ain't about your 1/4 inch. I promise you that. Hello, Pamela.
Hello.
Good to see you on. So always do your best to keep it the 1/4 inch. So we're not speeding.
No speeding.
We're keeping our 1/4 inch. We're getting us advice and help where we can. Don't be afraid to ask. It may be against what you're doing.
It's okay.
We're doing fine. This one I am torn on talking about.
Yeah.
Okay? Pressed, not ironed. Okay? Now, it's a true statement.
True
You
statement.
do not want to iron your fabrics. Really, you don't. Also, you don't really want to use steam if you have your standard conventional irons. See how I preface that?
Yeah.
Your standard conventional irons. The steam that comes out of your standard conventional iron is once heated and actually has a very large molecule of steam, which will saturate your fabric, which will allow it to distort, which means that your pieces are not going to go together properly.
And you know how you spend all that time squaring up your block?
Yeah.
And now you go and you use steam. Now it's like gonna stretch.
It's stretchy.
Weird.
And you've pushed it because
and
I really want that flat.
Square.
It's no longer square. It's no longer the size it should be. And when you try to put that with its friend, it's going to be kind of weird.
Yeah.
So press it. Don't iron it. So
yeah.
down, press, down, press. The only reason I bring that conversation up is because we've started recently selling the Laura Star iron. It's a Swiss engineered high quality piece of equipment that actually uses a twice steamed water. So it's a very fine, very dry steam, which means that I can use that on my fabrics. It does not saturate my fabric and then does not distort it.
If you want to see it, come on in.
You should come by and see it because it's pretty fantastic. And you want to talk about a quilt block that is flat?
Like paper.
Paper flat. It's quite incredible.
It's awesome.
But still, you're not going to take that and you're not going to just press your fabric and like drag it around. Because again, distortion is a real thing. You don't really want that. So, that. All right. That's probably one of the biggest ones I have people want to have a conversation about is pressing or ironing and steaming and all that.
Yeah.
You can. It's fine. But just know that if you're steaming and ironing, it's going to be a problem. Be aware of that. Things will distort.
Yeah.
This one's my favorite. By far. Borders.
Oh man, borders.
Okay. You've been wondering, are you doing borders right? Well, I hope so. No, I wouldn't say no. I don't know how you're doing borders. I mean, maybe you're doing just fine. The proper I can't right now. We don't just throw them on.
No.
She literally stands back, the quilt's over there, and she throws it at it. Like, ta-da!
And wherever it lands up, that's where I pin it and I sew.
And that's where she pins it and says, okay, Mom, and wanders off. And
I always sew on my own borders. 90% of the time.
Okay. I think your mom's going to love to hear that stat.
I sewed them on the last quilt that I made and said I was going to make, so...
So, proper border attachment, make sure you're getting 3 spots, top, middle, bottom, or if you're doing the sides, left, right, middle. You're going to average that, find the length, cut your borders to that dimension, sew that on, make it fit. Okay, don't forget your borders are a corral. Okay, if you're reading the pattern and the pattern says, just attach the fabric and cut off the excess, this is not a free pass to just do that. Please don't do that. Please don't.
Do they know why not to do that? Have we explained why?
So we've done border conversations before.
I feel like it was a long time ago, though.
Well, right. But it's situations where I could really go into a full-on conversation demo, and I don't really have the time for that today.
That's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, but really the whole point of a border is that it creates a frame around your quilt. So you've pieced together triangles in there, you've got half squares, you got stuff on point, and so you got setting triangles. You have a ton of bias happening inside of your quilt right now. If you try to just attach a border on that fabric with that bias, there's going to be stretch and give. The border's intent is to hold that fabric where it's supposed to be. And if you just slap it on, it's not corralling anything.
Yeah.
So you're going to attach that on to this long stretchy side, and now you're going to have this extra fullness in your border. If you're hand quilting, you might be able to corral that and deal with it.
Yeah.
But if you're putting it into a long arm, that fabric has nowhere to go. This is how puckers and folds and pleats and all that stuff happen. So, preferably, measure 3 times, take the average, attach those 2 sides, do the same for the top and bottom. Rinse and repeat for as many borders as you put on. In theory, you could put as many borders on as you want and not have the fullness.
Right.
In theory. Just don't sew them on and cut them off. You'll be fine beyond that. So, you've probably been doing that, so you're doing it fine. Also, at this point, Are you selling it to the museums? Museums?
Museums?
Museums?
Museums?
No, you're not. That's fine. So don't worry about it. Right tools for the job. A lot of people aren't always sure that they're using the right tools for the job. Are you?
I use whatever my mom gives me, so probably. My mom owns the quilt shop. It's fine.
It's just that much easier. Just default it to her, right?
Yeah, not default it. She uses good things.
Yeah, she does.
She does.
Right, because we're professional at it.
Exactly.
All right, so here's what you really kind of basically need. The best things to have. You want a good pair of scissors. You also want a good pair of decoy scissors. So that way when somebody walks into your quilt room, they don't use your good scissors.
Don't let them use your good scissors.
Don't let them do it. You need a cutting mat. I strongly encourage cutting mats. You can absolutely get away without the rotary cutter and the cutting mats. You can absolutely do it. There have been people that have quilted for many years by just using scissors to cut the fabric. Totally fine. You can absolutely do it. However, you can buy sliced bread. I am going to buy sliced bread because it's easier. Rotary cutters have made cutting a lot easier. That way things are a little bit more accurate. In my opinion, I have never myself been able to cut fabric cleanly enough and accurately enough that it actually looks good when it's pieced together.
Mm-hmm.
This
you
is
mean
just
with
my
scissors?
occasion. With scissors. What did I say?
You just said, you didn't, you might have said with scissors, but...
I implied with scissors.
Oh, okay. See, I was only half listening to what you were saying, and so I couldn't, I thought you just meant in general, and I was like... Anyway.
Okay. Also, run the cutting rotary cutter, if you can, works out really well. A tape measure is good to have.
I didn't bring one of those with me.
You didn't?
No.
So we clearly don't have one of those.
Not
happens.
On me. Nope.
I do also strongly encourage, if you're going to use rotary cutter and cutting mat, have yourself a really good, decent, straight edge ruler. This is a smaller version. This is a great quick trim ruler. This is going to be great for just kind of like quick edge trimming of stuff, not grabbing your giant ruler. Having a 6x20, 24 ruler is actually really nice for cutting your fabric in bulk fashion. You'll be doing fine if you got yourself one of those. Your pins and clips. Pins and or clips.
I only grabbed clips.
You did. We like the Wonder Clips.
We love Wonder Clips.
They're fantastic because I don't stab myself with them.
Love Wonder Clips.
Somehow I don't think that actually pertains to any of this.
It does.
Not really.
That's because I love Wonder Clips.
And you laugh with them? You guys have a good old time?
See, we're laughing right now.
Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right.
Okay.
So, clips are great. They hold your fabric well. Sometimes though, pins are actually a little more secure. Stuff's not going to shift on you. When you get through the whole quilting process, and you've been doing this for a couple years or, few months, you've really gotten comfortable with the idea and you really want that accuracy to get better. Sometimes pins are far more accurate because the fabric will not be able to shift at all because there's a solid piece of metal preventing it from shifting. The clips do a fine job just the same, but sometimes there are projects.
Well, I don't know. I'm so prone to hitting pins. So that's why I use the clips so I don't run them over. Because I can see the clips. I can't always see the pins.
I also generally encourage people to remove the pins instead of running over the pins.
Well, that's,
Yeah? Yeah? Okay. There's a reason why we keep her on the old classic Fisher-Price sewing machine at the house.
I don't have a Fisher-Price sewing machine.
Sorry, it says Play School on it. My bad. Difference. Oh, my golly gracious.
Oh, man.
So, on top of that, the last thing that really we do encourage people to have is a sewing machine. Now, you do not need the $8,000 sewing machine if you're new to this whole process. There's no need for it.
The Fisher-Price one works great for me.
It has its moments. I think the important part to always remember when it comes to a machine, you're looking for a machine, if you're still new to this and you just got one recently, I encourage you to look for a machine that's going to get you some sort of technical support. In person, preferably. If you're very much a online do-it-yourselfer kind of person, you're going to be fine with whatever you get. That's really cool. But if you like to have that in-person contact to be able to ask a question, or oh my gosh, I just ran over 4 pin heads in a roll.
I've never done
My machine
that.
sounds funny. Can you do something about it? And you need somewhere that goes to do that, and that's what they do. Look for a dealer. find the brand that works for you. Actually, it's more about interviewing the dealer and finding out, are these the people I want to deal with?
Sit down and ask them what their life will look like in 5 years.
Nope, that's not really the case.
You said interview.
By the way, I mean going and visiting them.
I know. That was funny. You see?
Interviewing them. We're not really interviewing them. There are actually some customers out there that I don't think I could sit through an interview with them because they intimidate me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because they come from a professional background, and it's very much I feel like I can't give them the right answer. I'm afraid. Have you ever been there?
No.
I have. It's scary.
I don't know.
Maybe not. I'm kidding. I'm not really intimidated by much. It's fine. All right. We talked about the other things that I forgot to mention here. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. Dad likes to use this thing. So, the pattern is winning.
Mm-hmm.
Put it away.
Yeah.
If you get through it and you've got the quilt done and you know that right here in this block, you did not get your point. You lost your point in this block. If you can put the quilt up, drive past it at 30 miles an hour and still can't see it, no one else is going to see it. The thing is that nobody is looking at your quilt and your work as closely as you are.
So you just told them the 30-30 rule. Do you realize that?
Was that the 30-30 rule?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that was the 30-30
30
rule.
foot at 30 miles an hour. If you can't tell there's a mistake, then it doesn't really matter. So there's also the galloping horse speed as well, but I'm not really fond of galloping horses. I
don't have a horse.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
I don't. I've never been on a galloping horse. It seems rather uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't. Those of you who ride horses, how? Because
probably with their bodies. Probably not personally.
Really?
Really, for real. Oh, yeah. So, but that's a really true point. Give yourself a little bit of grace when it comes to the piecing. If things aren't exactly perfect, it doesn't really matter. A lot of the times we start working on projects and we're trying to keep it with our friends and things aren't going as fast as they really should be going. Mm-hmm. Give yourself a little bit of a break. You don't have to keep up with everybody else unless they're pushing you because they're high pressure sales like that. They'll be fine. But if it's not perfect either, at the end, it doesn't matter. You got to remember that what's going to happen at the end of any quilt situation, again, unless your intention is to make, I'm not specifically talking to you because that's a different character altogether. Most quilts that we make, they're utility. Mm-hmm. They're going to be intended to be used. We're going to give it to somebody. There's going to be imperfections in them. It's just fact of the process. That's how it goes. Most people that we give these to have zero idea about quilting. All they think is, oh, the nice old ladies that sit around the church and they just do this all day long. That's not really, and they're like, they pantomime knitting, which is the weirdest part.
No, not the same.
It's not the same. We're kind of two different hobbies there. Like, it's really two different things.
I did tell one of my classmates that I work at a quilt store, and like, oh, and like, were like asking me about knitting stuff, and I was like,
I don't
knit. No, Emily, that's not what I do. Thanks, though.
So you're giving it. This is your customer base, if you will. I mean, there's family, their friends, there are people you're gifting these to. Have zero idea. So if something's not perfect, guess what? They are not gonna know. Like, they're not gonna know the difference. It's not gonna be that big of a deal. The other thing, you're gonna gift it to them, and most people are gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, this is the best thing I've ever got in my life." And then you're gonna say, "Make sure you use it." And you know what they're gonna do? I don't want to do it. Don't hide it in the closet.
Ooh.
So all those little tiny imperfections that were all over your quilt that were bothersome to you at 5 feet, zero relevance to the whole thing.
Nope. Not even gonna know.
Right, exactly. Also, the quilter will quilt it out. Yes, exactly. That is absolutely a true statement as well. I always get asked, people come in and they give me their quilts. There's always this is the ugliest quilt you've ever seen, or I hated every bit of this fabric that I chose. I think it's the ugliest thing ever. Once it's quilted, even if there's some fullness that happens with it, I honestly don't know that I've ever seen an ugly quilt leave this shop. And I have done it myself. And I know there are many more that have been done since that I haven't actually done.
I mean, I've done upwards of hundreds. Like, I've never seen an ugly quilt.
And they are their own level of unique.
Yeah.
Are they fabric choices that I would have made? No.
Not always.
Not really.
Not really.
But A lot of them, though, once they're done, they are their own personality, and they are fantastic. And they're going to get gifted to people who are going to love them or store them safely away. You may get the occasional one that has no idea what they've just gotten and how much time and effort went into it, and then it's all of a sudden the dog's hanging out on it. That happens. Just mentally prepare for that. Be aware of that possibility.
Yeah.
That happens.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's why we're making them durable stuff so that way they can get washed properly and et cetera and whatnot. But again, the whole point is to always remember that it's not that big of a deal. It's going to be fine, guys.
Yeah.
Give yourself a break. That little point for the star was supposed to be perfectly together, but now it's like here. You're too close. Just stop it. You're fine. It'll quilt out, like Joanne said.
That's what they make us do in art class.
Quilt stuff out?
Yeah. No. Whenever we're working on something, if we're getting like frustrated with it, like my art teacher will like stack and as a whole. So that way you can see the whole picture rather than just this little tiny part that's not exactly doing what it's supposed to.
Right.
It's the same concept.
It is absolutely the same concept. So it's totally fine to be aware of that. Also, give yourself that breather. Remember that. Maybe put a sign up on your wall. Maybe I need to create signs. Ooh, fancy, right? Yeah. Just so we're gonna back up. So somebody walks in the room, point a sign, back up, kid. I'll chase you out. I will. Anyway,
so now we're gonna get fun T-shirts, graphic T-shirts. Say back up?
That's crazy aggressive. Back up. Get out of here.
And signs.
Signs
with our team rotary or team scissors.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Probably not. Fun. Oh my gosh, gracious. Okay.
I'm having a good time. I don't know about y'all, but I'm having a great time.
That's all that matters. Enjoy having yourself a good time. But with all that said, if you are going to work on a project that you're not really sure, or if you're still kind of new to all this thing, another really good tip to know is that you don't have to go in on the high end. Not every requires every project you do. Most quilt shops have a clearance section, so it's still going to be quality fabric, but usually it's marked down pretty far. Those are the fabrics that you want to get for your projects that you're not real sure how it's going to turn out. Most of us all have a quilting fabric stash that we've purchased fabric over time. You see stuff on clearance that you would love to have, but you're not sure what to do with, make a stash out of that.
Yeah.
That way you have that to choose from at a later time, and you're not going to be, oh my gosh, I can't just believe I did that. I ruined this $15 yard fabric, because that's becoming the common price anymore, but let's not talk about that.
Much. That hurts my soul.
Right. So it's always nice to go and shop the clearance stuff and see what's out there and have a stockpile of things that are going to really help you out. So that way you can run through stuff. Doesn't hurt to do these things. It's totally fine. And after that, it's just about practicing. Always practice. Always making stuff. Always trying. If it doesn't work, rip it out 3 times. After that, just it's going to be part of it.
Fire.
Nope. Nope, we're not.
Don't do that.
No, just if you have to rip it out more than 2 or 3 times, then it's too much. One, it's dangerous for the fabric. It's not going to hold up that many. Yeah. The point that it's going to be fine. Just let it be what it is.
Yeah. Mom always, whenever she comes across a pattern with a block that she hasn't really tried before, she'll take like scraps from her stash and practice making the block with said scraps.
Yes.
Good technique.
It is a great technique. It's a really good way to try to give it a run through first before you get into the good fabric. And we've had customers bring in their practice quilt and then bring in their finished quilt. So they do a whole second quilt, and that's fine. I mean, if that's what you need to make sure it's right, you go with that. Do it. It's fine. Right. All right. And I really think that's about it. The whole goal of this whole conversation was just to remind you guys that you're doing fine. Don't worry about it so much.
You're doing a great job.
Keep making your seams the way you make them. Aim for 1/4 inch. Don't let your friends come in and tell you, oh my God, that's terribly wrong. I don't need that negativity in my life. What's that? Oh, that's a fancy hand. But if your friend comes in and says, oh, that block is actually backwards.
That's
a helpful hint. You want to seams all the way to the back.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Yeah. Right sides together.
Yeah, perfectly. Yeah. Preferably.
Preferred.
But anyway, So all those things are the things. But that was really the important part of this. I was trying it a little bit different today by going through like the whole meat of everything before I dived into like announcement-y type stuff and all that. Let me know. What did you guys think? Was that the better way to do it? I don't know. I'll take any advice you want to give me. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but, I'll take it.
I'll take it and run.
Right. Preferably not with scissors.
With the scissors down.
Do not run with the scissors.
Not run with the scissors.
And don't force people to back up. That's dangerous. Actually, I don't have a ton of announcements this month either.
What about next weekend?
Next weekend is a quilt show.
Yay!
I strongly encourage you all to go and be there.
Okay. It will be me, Sadie, and Kelly, and Diane. Mom and Dad will be in Utah for handy quilter training.
We will be.
So come hang out with me.
So it's in Belleville. It's the Hearts and Hands Quilt Show. It is at Whiteside Middle School. Is it middle school?
Don't know.
Whiteside. It's in Belleville. Oh, gracious. I just totally blanked. I read like 5 Anyway, it's Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
It starts at 10 on Saturday. It's 10 to 4. And then Sunday, I believe, 10 or 11 to 4. But both days, Warm and Cozy will be represented. It's going to be fantastic. I don't know the exact number of counts of quilts they expect to be there, but
a lot.
It's usually a pretty good show. We've actually vended at this one a couple times in the past. I do look forward to being there again. Unfortunately, I personally won't be there, but I do look forward to seeing the crowd that shows out and hearing about it while I'm away in Utah. Getting trained at the Handy Quilters, because that's about there for more information from them. I'll get to bring all that back to you guys.
Yay!
It'll be a good time. So anyway, so that's next weekend. Make sure you go. That said, there probably will not be a Saturday morning video next week because, well, I'm not going to be here.
It won't be here.
But I'm sure we'll do some live videos either from the show or from Utah just the same because why not? So it'll be worth checking all that out. But anyway, that's pretty much all I've got today, honestly. Kind of a light day, which is fine because we really have a lot more stuff to get ready for in the shop. You guys are more than welcome to come in and see me today. It's going to be hot outside, so don't go outside and be hot. Come to the quilt shop.
You will have to walk outside to get into the building from your car. But that's okay, because we keep it cold in here all the time.
Not all the time.
It's been every day that I've worked here lately, it's been cold. Not just regular cold.
Really?
Yeah, really.
I've been comfortable.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just always cold.
Maybe.
Which is a fact.
Okay.
Okay.
I've had enough fun here, I think. I think it's time to go to work.
Are we not going to do our this or that thing today?
Did we forget a this or that thing?
We didn't do it.
Do you want to do this or that? What's your choices?
I don't know if we've already done it or not.
I'm not really sure either.
Have we done pins versus clips?
I don't think we have.
I don't think so either.
But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say we're going to pin a pin in that, and we'll use that on the next video.
Okay.
Think about it, guys. Next time we're on, the question's going to be, you have to choose. You can have pins, or you can have clips, but you can no longer have both. Which one's it going to be? I think it's a tough call. I honestly don't know which one I'd want to keep now. We'll think about it. We'll debate next time. All right?
Next time.
Next time. Out here. We'll see you soon. Have a good weekend.
Bye.